Well, yeah, I guess we can start, Brian. Well, yeah, I guess we can start, Brian. Well, yeah, I guess we can start, Brian. Well,
You're on repeat.
yeah, I guess
I
we can
saw
start,
on the
Brian.
news
Well,
that Taylor Swift's piano started playing on its own. Did you see that?
Are we good now, Ashley? Okay. We're in a loop there for a minute. Yeah.
well, it's 7-ish p.m. We'll call the regular city council meeting of May 25th, 2023 to order. Mayor Berkey is on vacation, so I'll be filling in. Mr. Peel, I believe, is with us by phone. Mr. Peel, are you with us?
Yes, here, I can hear you.
Thank you. So I'd like to invite Mr. Pastor Zach Terrell to the front for the invocation. If everybody could stand and join us.
Father, we thank you for Spring Hill. We thank you for the community in which we live and play and serve and have business. We pray for your counsel, for this council, that there would be wisdom in the decision-making process and that there would be just good consideration of this present time that we're in and for years to come to serve our community. Thank you for the civil servants here and civic leaders, Lord, the people who are serving us and helping to shape our community for the better. We pray that this community would be blessed and would flourish, that the businesses would do well, it'd be a safe place for our families and for our schools. Lord, we pray that your kingdom would come and your will would be done here in Spring Hill as it is in heaven. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. To remain standing, we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, if you'd call the roll.
Mr. Van Houten,
Here.
Mrs. Roth,
Here.
Mr. Peel,
Here.
Mr. Young,
Here.
Ms. North.
Here.
President, we do have a quorum present.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
With that, we'll move to approval of the the agenda. Does the council have any requested changes?
No.
If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda,
The regular agenda.
the regular agenda.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0-0. Next is citizen participation. This is an opportunity in the meeting for those to address the council regarding items or issues that are not already on the agenda. If you wish to do so, we ask that you please stand up to the lectern, state your name and address for the record, and then you will have the council's attention. I did not have anybody sign up. If there's anybody else who'd like to come up and speak.
President Roth, I do just have a quick question. The last motion was a vote of 5-0.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I just wanted to correct that. That's okay, because you're able to vote. Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0-0. My apologies. And if nobody wants to come up, we'll close that and move on to the consent agenda. Anybody have any questions? If not, I entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0-0.
It's like he's waiting for the second.
On to formal council action. Mr. Messer, if you'd come chat with us about considering approval of construction contract bid for the base grant Webster Street Improvements Project with Walters Excavating LLC of Paola, Kansas, in the amount of $4,243,52.57.
Good evening, everyone. You said a lot of it right there. The bids for the base grant project were open. The low bid was $4,246,052.57. Staff recommends, and that was with Walters Excavating LLC. Staff recommends we award this. Alternatives, accept the staff recommendations and proceed, or reject Walters' bid, which require rebidding. Remand the item back. Legal review has been done, and the funding source will be the general obligations bond until the project's completed. If it's any questions, it's pretty straightforward. It's a project up North Webster.
Yeah, it's a pretty big difference in the two bids, it looked like.
Yes. Yeah, it was a pretty good difference.
Yeah.
And this is actually under the engineer's estimate slightly.
Yeah, I saw.
It's been a trend, which we like.
Good deal.
That's good.
And there's no, I'm assuming you did some background check on the company.
Yes, yes. Dan Miller wasn't able to be here tonight, but I was with the bid opening, and he took and qualified the bids and found them all in order.
Have we done business with this company?
Yes,
Past?
yes,
And past business has gone well to your knowledge?
yes, done very well.
Any other questions?
No, it's very straightforward.
Entertain a motion?
I move to accept the low bid from Walters Excavating LLC in the amount of $4,246,052.57 and authorizing the mayor and staff to execute the construction contract after review by city attorney and the temporary funding in place.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Oppose? Motion carries 500. Thank you, Mr. Messer. Next is consider approval ordinance number 2023-10, maximum assessment for special benefit district for the RHID Wiswell project. Mr. Ellsworth, if you please.
Good evening, council members. Tyler Ellsworth with the Kutak Rock Law Firm, City's Bond Counsel. You have for your consideration this evening an ordinance levying maximum assessments in the benefit district that relates to the Webster Road project that Mr. Messer was just talking to you about. So construction of Webster Road from 191st to 199th is being financed in part through a base grant from the state. The other part of that construction project will be financed through general obligation bonds, which are structured here through a benefit district. And so we put the benefit district in place in December. The ordinance that you're being asked to consider this evening levies the maximum assessments, and it helps provide notice to the property owners by placing of record what the maximum principal amount of the assessments will be against the properties. Now you recall that the way this benefit district is structured, there are assessments against the properties after Webster is completed, but once each individual home is completed, those assessments go away and instead are paid with the property tax increment. It's nonetheless helpful, I think, at this point to put this maximum assessment ordinance in place to help provide notice that the benefit district is out there. So that's what you're being asked to consider this evening.
And this is still different from the benefit district like in Dayton Creek where technically the homeowners aren't going to necessarily see it.
That's correct. They may see it if they look at their title report when they buy their title policy when they buy their homes, but that's correct. Any owner of a completed home should not be assessed for these improvements.
And this is not including that neighborhood just north that does not have direct access to it, right?
It does not, although there is an option where if those streets connect into Webster, that the assessments could be levied against those properties as well. Okay. At this point, that neighborhood is not included in this ordinance.
That's what
Yeah.
Didn't know if that gone anywhere. Okay.
I think what I liked and was clarified earlier today was that this homeowner that would purchase these homes owes the same amount of tax that they normally would there's nothing additional above and beyond.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I know after the whole Dayton Creek
Right,
deal, we
yeah.
kind of didn't really want that anymore, so.
Right.
Yeah, seems pretty straightforward from what we had discussed before.
I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve ordinance number 2023-10, an ordinance levying and assessing special assessments on certain lots, pieces, and parcels of land liable for such special assessments. To pay the cost of improvements in the city of Spring Hill, Kansas, is authorized by resolution number 2022-R-28 of the city Webster Road Special Benefit District.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Van Houten,
Yes.
Mrs. Roth,
Yes?
Mr. Peel,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mrs. North.
Yes.
President, ordinance number 2023-10 has passed 500.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Mr. Ellsworth.
Thank you.
Next, we have item to consider approval of ordinance number 2023-11, rezoning PZD 000085-2023, 20230 Webster Street from RP4 to RP4. Mr. Burton, will you be joining us?
I'll give it a shot. Good evening. This is a rezoning that's a little different as far as it's a planned district and it's going from RP4 to RP4. The gist of it is they just shrunk the pattern. If you can see in the staff reports, the old preliminary development plan and the new recently approved by Planning Commission development plan. So they've shrunk the multifamily part of it, but actually gained a few units. It used to have 732, and now it has 765. And what they did is they just went in with a design consultant, better utilization of the ground, removed some right-of-ways that were unnecessary, and you can see it flows better overall.
That's
And
what I
then-
thought, looking at it. It was like, it seems like a lot better layout than.
Yes,
Better use of that space.
better use as well as design and all that. And then we did pick up some additional commercial, so.
My initial concern was making sure that, traffic and everything had been
Oh,
accounted for, and we weren't going to.
Sure, the
overload
traffic
the area,
studies,
but
right,
that's
the
all.
traffic, and it's not a huge increase. The traffic studies basically came back the same. Now, there has to be some control measures out at Webster, signals, roundabouts, whatever that becomes to look like. But that was also in the initial, so. And one thing, it'll develop in phases, and so we'll have to start planning now, but it won't pop up all at once,
Sure.
so.
And will this all be one development, or is it gonna be multiple?
It's one development.
One developer for the apartment complex?
Yes, that's correct. These apartment complexes, to make them work, they have to get bigger and bigger and bigger. They have a real nice pool area or nice accommodation, pool and pool area, as well as a
Clubhouse.
clubhouse there. Thank you. I was getting there. So I think that's a lot better. And they utilized it, if you just look at it, it just looks like it flows better, so.
I think it looks like a great plan, the way that it flows, and it'll be a good benefit to Spring Hill to have all the housing units. And I think it'll be really nice.
Yeah, we're really pleased with the new plan. When they said they were gonna start over, basically redesigning, and I think it turned out really nice. And we learned in the process as well.
Any further questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Let's see. All All right, I move to approve ordinance number 2023-11 for rezoning application PZD-000085-2023 for the described property from RP4 to RP4.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? No. Madam Clerk, would you take the roll?
Mrs. Roth,
Yes?
Mr. Peel,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mrs. North,
Yes.
Mr. Van Houten.
Yes.
President Roth, the ordinance 2023-11 has passed 500.
Thank you. Next, we have consider approval of ordinance number 2023-12, rezoning Z000086-2023, 2230 Webster Street, RP4, C2, and MP to C2. Mr. Burton, would you like to join us again?
This was, as you can see on the second sheet of the staff report, is a good layout with coloring on it, where this is the blue tinted area. And all this really is cleaning all these areas up and making it a C2. It's all commercial. As you can see, the placement of the commercial is mostly along Webster. But in looking at different developments and understanding from future buyers of property for different types of uses, they also, some of them wanted to be along along 169. So you can see how now it wraps up through there. We're up in the your left-hand corner, or the north west corner, used to be industrial. And they had planned on originally storage units and things like that, but there's actually some commercial properties that are looking at that, so they'll be visible, and then
To the highway.
people will hunt them down.
That's a fantastic location right there by
I
the
think so.
highway.
I thought it was a pretty cool setup. It looks like there's only, what, 2 access points from Webster
That's
to
correct.
that area? Okay. So you're not going to have a bunch of just random stops to get in.
No. No,
Which will
and they're
keep it flowing
spaced
pretty good.
and, right.
You know, I mean, this is kind of what I've been hoping to see, something come through like this, because we kind of need it, so.
I think this is also a good
think it's really
benefit for that, the residents that'll be in that area.
Yes,
Similar developments like this, you know, further in cities north of us are doing things like this, and I talk to the residents and they love it. Some people
right.
don't want to be next to.
Sure.
But there is a population that wants that fast, quick amenity, and I think this is exactly what that is.
Right, and it's banks and, you know, hair salons and nails and all that.
A
And
lot of retail space, a lot of fast food, drive-through,
exactly. So
which we lack right now. So
possibly, you know,
grocer it looked like in there. Yeah.
right.
It's good.
No, yeah, I think it's good. I think, yeah, you kind of have to have some of that facing 169, especially if you want a big thing on the back end. The bigger the
Right. Actually, you spotted the grocer on there and all, and that was an actual, not demand, but criteria of this particular grocer.
yeah,
So
makes sense. That's what I was kind of thinking when I saw that. I'm like, needs to
Yep.
be off the highway.
that's what it is.
Cool. No, I think it looks great. I was really happy to see this come up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burton. Any other questions? Not, I'd entertain a motion.
Oh, gosh, I'll do one, right?
Lost my location.
I move to approve ordinance number 2023-12, rezoning Z-000086-2023, 20230 Webster Street, RP4, C2, and MP to C2.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, if you'd call the roll, please.
Yes, I'm sorry, who seconded that?
I did.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Mr. Peel,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mrs. North,
Yes.
Mr. Van Houten,
Yes.
Mrs. Roth.
Yes.
President Roth, the ordinance 2023-12 has passed 500.
Thank you. All right, next item is consider approval of ordinance number 2023-13, rezoning Z 000087-2023, 20230 Webster Street, RP4, C2 NMP 2 MP. It's a lot of letters and numbers. Mr. Burton. Felt like I was reading the alphabet.
That was good. Okay, so if you go to the colored map again, this indicates the pink area. Now, of course, it's industrial zoning, but the only reason to get it to industrial zoning is the proposed use in there now is like an office warehouse type deal in there where maybe some of the workers live right there and they can run up a small heating air company or something like that. This pink area was first redesigned in there for a Justice Center. And then it was the Justice Center, this location was turned down. So we went back and looked at it and with them, and they said, you know, this would be a good area to have an office warehouse type. It's not going to be any manufacturing. It won't be a pet food manufacturer or anything like that. And that is why it's drawn on there. And we went ahead and went with the planned industrial. So meaning that they can't just go in there and change a bunch of it. They have to stay within the boundaries of what is proposed.
So these, oh, go ahead, Chip.
Pardon? This is the storage? Is this what they would?
There was a portion of the storage in this.
Okay, this is not the same.
Oh, no,
Office warehouse.
no.
No.
Yes, this is an office warehouse. Oh, well, and then they do have
the far
up
left
there,
of storage.
yeah, against the highway is some storage. But if you notice, the larger area of it is office warehouse.
So that's what this is all industrial. That's what I was going to ask in the middle.
Yes,
And I can't
it's
really see the
planned
square
industrial.
footage on those. What are they kind of platted for?
I believe they were platted for 2,600, if I remember correctly.
2,600 square feet apiece. That's it.
Is that right? Harold?
26,000?
No, they're not that big. No,
They're that small, 26,000?
I think, Harold will tell us in just a minute. 54,000 total.
That's what I was saying. That makes more sense.
Well, each one of them, 26, 3, oh, I'm off, yeah.
Yeah.
So 54,000 total
Okay.
in that area.
I'll say, yeah, about 16 or 18 would be about right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that looks like, so that's basically the type of, buildings where the 191st, kind of like where Shoemaker is and stuff, those type of
exactly.
properties.
Gotcha.
And
Similar.
when we hear industrial, sometimes. it
Right.
can be
Yeah, you get that,
nerve-wracking.
yeah.
So this is, I think, a more palatable for people who have that fear.
Right, and that's what people read and say industrial, it's a planned industrial, so they, they can change a little bit, but the actual scope of it can't change. They couldn't put a processing plant in there.
It's not gonna be the smokestacks type image.
Well, a smokestack, like barbecue or something, they might be in the front. I don't know. That's correct. It will not be. It will not be a
coal
glass
burning
plant
plant.
Yeah, it's not like the.
or a coal burning.
Right.
And you guys are right. Green tonight. Good deal.
So could that storage building change to industrial too, or do you think that's pretty much?
It is industrial right now.
Well,
Oh, you mean the change of it? So
that far left one, yeah.
if they go and it is a major change, let's say they go and decide to put an office building there, or let's go worse than that. Let's say they want to go and put a contractor's yard there.
Yeah.
Okay, they cannot do that without going back through the process since it's a planned district.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, it'd be fine if, if it's a, whatever, office warehouse, normal office warehouse stuff would be fine there. I just didn't know if it was kind of gonna be an actual, like, climate controlled storage building. Or
It is, and that's
That's what would be kind of nice to have.
yes, and that's what's proposed there. And so what I meant by close to it is, let's say they only did one building of climate control and then decided to do another building that isn't.
No,
That's close enough to the plan that we would not take that back.
it doesn't look like it has outdoor storage though, because,
No, there is no outdoor storage on that.
cool, not, looks pretty good. Looks like it's good access with with the roundabout type of circle, so. I like
And
it.
it's tucked back there where, once they get there, they're not right in the middle of hustle and bustle of the development. So, I will tell you that the northern access lines up to Maple Ridge, and that's intentional. The developer worked with us on that to be able to help whatever the traffic control measures that are put there, to help Maple Ridge be able to go out and head south.
Okay,
I mean, it's almost busy enough now where you don't want to turn south.
yeah,
So that is a real good design where it also helps a neighborhood or the city even in a situation that
yeah,
is only going to could get worse.
Sure.
looks good. I like this whole development. I think it's gonna be great.
Right, and that's 13. It's Z87. You don't have to read all the zeros.
So it's what, 100, a little shy of 160 and then about 54.
That's correct.
Okay.
Mr. Burton, I got a question real fast.
Yes.
Um,
Do I have to
It
turn
may
and
be-
look at you?
if you want to.
Okay.
It may be for future, but the traffic control that you're talking about there,
Yes.
is that a decision that we make as far as what goes there, or does KDOT dictate that, or
No.
how does that process kind of play out?
Sure. So it is totally up to the governing body on what type of, a roundabout, a signalization, how it's designed and all. There is, we get up this far and there is no more KDOT right-of-way up there. So it's all city right-of-way. So it's totally up to the governing body. And the developer, they may throw their 2 cents in, and we want them to. They may come up with something better than what we are looking at. And it will also be, there will be funds that, from the different developments that will help pay for that.
My only other input on this one, and I know it's just rezoning, but we need to make sure that we get sidewalks on Webster outside of that commercial zone as well. That might be already in the plan or already required, but we need to make sure that there's some walkability there. There's a connector up there for
Up
Quick
there.
Trip.
That's
that-
correct.
So, and then that would also connect in Maple Ridge right across the street.
Yes, and what we're hoping is that we can have a plan that would have the connectivity in conjunction with whatever type of traffic control at that intersection. And we'll,
That's good thinking.
and we'll work with the developer on the other side of the street, or on the east side of the street, in planning how to utilize and not do the road 3 or 4 different times.
It does look like it's nice and backed up right to that cul-de-sac, so it's still pretty pretty close to Quick Trip, so walking access, yeah, it would be really nice to have the sidewalks there,
Right, and,
so,
we're working to get that connected through there as well,
okay.
so.
Yeah, because it's not too far to keep moving south down Webster and connect up there on Sonic, and then all of a sudden you can walk from, in more or less anywhere in town all the way up to Quick Trip and not have to be on the road.
Correct, and in community development's eyes, we should be looking at Webster all through that whole area on traffic control anyway. And in conjunction with the traffic control measures put in, the different types of alternative transportation, whether it be a 10-foot asphalt trail or something like that.
Yeah.
Because really, to be honest with you, if you look at the sidewalk that Quick Trip brought up, that is in accordance to our code, it's great, but, you know, it's 5 foot wide.
Yeah,
And
say it's pretty wide.
it's not really user friendly, especially when you're gonna bike through there. and all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is just for walkers, you know, it's not very multimodal, user friendly.
Yeah, so we need to look at alternative transportation type of things there.
Thank you, Mr. Burton.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No. Will entertain a motion?
Move to approve ordinance number 2023-13 for rezoning application Z-000087-2023 for the described property from RP4, C2, and MP to MP.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, if you'd call the roll, please.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mrs. North,
Yes.
Mr. Van Houten,
Yes.
Mrs. Roth. Bless
Yes.
Bless you.
you. Mr. Peel,
Yes.
President Roth, the ordinance 2023-13 has passed 500.
Thank you. Next item, we have consideration of approval of ordinance number 2023-14, amending Chapter 15, Article 208 of the Spring Hill Municipal Code relating to operation of designated trucks and similar vehicles and truck routes within the city of Spring Hill, Kansas. Mr. Messer.
Yeah, this is a pretty simple, Miami County passed a resolution prohibiting truck traffic. The way our ordinance read, the entire width of 223rd. And Miami County has now made it no truck traffic to the west.
Great.
So this is it was a very simple change in it. 223rd from the entire length to 223rd from the eastern boundary to the city limits. Miami County intends to start their signs at Columbia Road. And what we're envisioning, and we're working with KDOT and Miami County, is we would like to put some, if this is passed, right at the highway, so they don't
Sure.
take a right, don't take a left. And because I know Johnson County's been having a lot of problems with a couple of their truck traffic routes where the drivers are getting there and doing U-turns in the middle of the intersections to go the other way. So we were just trying to react. They're gonna put the signs up the 30th of May. So this is just to enable us to, working with KDOT and Miami County, put the proper signs up in the city limits to help them before they get to Columbia Road, and then they start cutting through country roads to try to get back to where they were wanting to be. So recommendations, return to staff for further study, or we recommend you approve it. Ordinance 2023-14, you can return it to staff for more study, or allow the trucks to drive through the city and then let them be on their own when they hit Columbia Road. But that's not being very nice to them, but, and it has been reviewed by Spencer. Their only change was that one sentence.
I want to commend Miami County Commissioners for what they did in keeping the thoroughfare of semi-trucks off of 223rd Street. And I would hope that it would be an example for Johnson County, because highways and freeways are made for the semis, not our residential and rural roads. The citizens don't want this kind of traffic through the Johnson County side. And we, as the governing body, represent the citizens of Spring Hill on both Miami and Johnson County. And it's time we represent what the citizens want and what Sheriff Hayden wants. I don't know if any of you are aware of it today. There was another rollover of a semi on 199th on the east side of our city, between Flum and Quivira. It split the truck apart. And I got a response from a homeowner that lived in that area, and there were two cars behind that tractor trailer. And it was brought up by one of our commissioners, Charlotte O'Hara, that she and another commissioner wanted to try to create an amendment so that we could have signage put up to stop the thoroughfare semis going through on residential and rural roads. If you look at this amendment, where thank goodness Miami County has wanted to do this on 223rd Street, 191st, 199th, 207th, and 215th are all designated that trucks can come through their semis. And many on the Johnson County Commissioners meeting, what was ironic was they were having their meeting that Mrs. O'Hara and another commissioner were trying to put a stop to this. And this happened, it wasn't long ago that another one also rolled over on 199th. So it's not something that happens many years in between. And Sheriff Hayden said it's a danger to our deputies who protect us every day with very low pay. And I just think it's not using wisdom in Johnson County. Miami County, thank goodness, they have some wisdom. It's not something, as they think, is a knee-jerk reaction. It's not something that they think is needing another study that takes a long time. And also, studies cost taxpayers a lot of money. And right now, Johnson County assessments are ridiculously high. And I think we need to listen to the citizens of Johnson County and southern Johnson County, and we need to listen to our sheriff. And so I would hope that we could finally stand up and do something about it as citizens. Anybody that's listening out there, we need to attend the Johnson County Commissioners meetings. It takes a bunch of people to go there. Write to them. KDOT, we could do the same thing as Miami because that's, they're creating the signage along the highway so that these trucks don't get in that predicament. Whoever that truck driver was today on 199th that the truck split apart, I'm glad that wasn't my husband or son or daughter that happened to. And it won't happen if you put the signage out on the highway. So I have a lot to say on that. I just care about the citizens. I care about our deputies. And I want to do the right thing. And I'm really happy for Miami County.
I think it's important to, I know that a lot of people say they don't like truck traffic, and I agree that there's certain places for it, but I also want to make sure that we're clear that truck drivers are human beings. They have a job and they serve a purpose, and we should be very thankful and grateful for those truck drivers that do that job because they literally drive our, goods to where they need to go. So trucks are not evil, truck drivers are not evil, we need them and we rely heavily on them. I think this is great because we're protecting them and helping them get to where they need to get safely and put them, on the right path. They're not a bad thing. We should be ever grateful for these truck drivers doing what they're doing. We want to make sure that they're getting there safely and utilizing the roads as best they can. So
These
that's
roads
what I
just
get from
aren't.
this.
Yeah,
Right.
these roads are putting the drivers in danger probably more than anybody else. That's the
Right.
hard part. But yeah, no, I'm happy with Miami County doing this. I think it's a good thing, and yeah, Johnson County could probably follow suit in some of those areas for sure. So
Yeah, good job, Miami County. Yeah, look, 109's awful, right? Semis are all the time, so there's no margin of error. We all know that. They get a little over to the side, he overcorrected today, and he's laid up sideways, so, that's a busy road. So, yeah, look, thanks, Miami County. Made that one easy for us.
If I may, Madam President.
Mr. Burton, yes.
So we have businesses that are now constructing right there. Bedrock is building a new facility there. And then the salvage yard is also there. It is our understanding and intent that it would not affect those trucks going to their
Yeah.
businesses, just so that
yeah, any direct traffic
anybody
should be
that's
okay.
listening,
Yeah.
where
What was the term? There was a term used and it slips my mind. It was, not end user, but, through trucks
Through
are not
allowed.
permitted.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah,
But I just wanted to make sure that.
Pass through.
Right.
Pass through.
So if residents see trucks going that way and then turning in there, that is allowable.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, getting rid of the thoroughfare traffic will make it nice for those trucks so they don't have to fight with a bunch of other ones that are just kind of flying through. So that will be nice for those companies over there.
It's eliminating the pass through. It's not eliminating
Yeah.
all truck traffic.
Exactly.
Any other discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, if you call the roll.
I think I'm gonna make a motion. Right?
Oh,
I'll move to approve ordinance number 2023-14, amending Chapter 15, Article 208 of the Spring Hill Municipal Code relating to operation of designated trucks and similar vehicles and truck routes within the city of Spring Hill, Kansas.
Second.
now I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if you call the roll.
Mrs. North,
Yes.
Mr. Van Houten,
Yes.
Mrs. Roth,
Yes?
Mr. Peel,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Madam President, ordinance number 2023-14 has passed 500.
Thank you. Next item, we have consider approval of a special permit, event permit, excuse me, for Fishing Derby Spring Hill Recreation Commission.
Madam President, I will be sitting out of this one.
Thank you, Mr. Peel. Madam Deputy Clerk, could you please mute Mr. Peel's speakers? Ms. Garrity.
Good evening, Mayor, and, President and Council. Tonight, we have oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong sheet. Okay. I am presenting the special event permit. Let me do the screen, thank you. Thank you. For a fishing derby that the Spring Hill Recreation Commission is applying for. They are sponsoring a fishing derby at Veterans Park on June 3rd, 2023, from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. This event does require a special event permit since it will be on city property. All internal departments reviewed the information and they have no issues to report. The Johnson County Fire District Number 1 has reviewed and they have requested that no parking area be maintained during the event to allow for potential emergency access. And listed on the staff report, there's the site plan. In Veterans Lane coming in, there are 2 red arrows on each side. They request that does remain no parking. And the Rec Commission is aware of that, so they will maintain that. There will be parking in the parking lot there, and there will be some overflow parking at the dog park, and then further north on the right-hand side of there. And then they have all the stations listed on the site plan as far as how the Veterans Park will be used for the event. The insurance requirements have been met. And my recommendation is City Council approve the special event permit for the fishing derby to be held on Saturday, June 3rd at Veterans Park from 8 a.m. to 1:30. So you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
How many years has this been going on now?
Well, before it came here to Veterans, they were using the Woodland,
Murray Park. Murray Pond.
yeah, that pond out there.
Yeah. It's been quite a few years. I feel like.
Yeah, it has been
2 or 3.
quite a,
At Veterans at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say veterans.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years.
probably ever since Veterans
Not more
opened
than
up.
3. It was
Yeah.
anyway, my youngest.
But the event's been going on for.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, the event has been going
My
on
year.
quite a while,
Yeah.
you know,
At
when
Murray
it
Pond.
first started.
It was there.
But, so yeah, it's exciting to have Veterans Park be used
Yeah.
for, you know, a community event, and now with the jetties out there, I'm sure that'll be a popular spot.
I think this is a great draw to kind of showcase what the city has done out there. And, you know, they may have not been out there, sadly. So this is a great event to say, come on out, we've got this thing going on, and then they see it, and then they might come back for,
Yeah.
you know, the following weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been a good event for the Rec Commission, so.
Yeah, we'll do.
Any other questions?
I think Spring Hill does a great job with all the events for families that are very family-friendly, and this is just another good one to participate in.
I agree.
All right.
I would entertain a motion.
So you need a motion I move to approve the special event permit, Fishing Derby Spring Hill Recreation Commission.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Aye. Oppose? Motion carries 4-0-0.
Thank
Madam
you.
Deputy Clerk, if you would bring Mr. Peel back. Mr. Peel, are you with us?
I'm back.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have a discussion item regarding health insurance renewal. Ms. Jones, if you would.
Good evening, Council. So I wanted to bring this to you guys for discussion because we are coming up on renewal for our health insurance for the July 1st effective date. And as of right now, I don't have final data to present any recommendations to you. So I wanted to come and have a discussion of where I'm at right now to make sure if there's any questions or concerns that I can gather that information so that when I come back and present, we can make a decision expeditiously and move through the whole process. Right now, what I do know is that with our current provider, Cigna Oscar, they are providing a renewal for July 1st, 16% higher than what our current rates are. And so with that, CBIZ, our broker, has gone out to the market and went to various companies to get some rates back. And right now, we have found at least one other viable option that within the last 2 days, it's the bigger umbrella of Cigna that has come back and said that they would be able to offer us rates at about 5% higher than our current rates with Cigna Oscar. So that is encouraging. And then I am also, in terms of thinking outside of the box, looking at a collaboration with another municipality entity to join with them in their policy that could potentially give us lower rates and still be able to hit those goals of having a as robust a plan as possible for our employees, but have it be cost effective. I just need a couple of other things on their side to even see if that's gonna be a viable option to present to the council. So, with that said, like I said, we're looking at a tight time frame, a little bit of a crunch once everything comes in. So I wanted to make sure that I at least gave you some preliminary information and see if there's any questions, concerns you wanna put out there. So when I come back, we make sure we got everything addressed for you guys.
We all have something to say.
Yeah.
My only question would be, I realize that you're doing a lot of legwork and that's appreciated. Have we sought, I don't know enough about health insurance. Is Cigna a broker or is that a direct provider?
So our broker is CBIZ.
Okay.
And CBIZ goes out to all the carriers and gets the information, so,
That was gonna be my only suggestion is utilize a broker.
yeah.
So, check. Got it.
No, and I will say, like I said, within just the last couple of days, they've come back with Cigna being an offer of like 5% or so. Anything that we've gotten, they just didn't take the first thing, they went back and tried to get it lower and everything, so.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, I just think you need to work the process, and then bring back, 5%'s palatable, maybe, 16 is not, right?
Oh, yes.
So 16 is, that would be the expectation to raise the price though, if you're the business. So I'm not super surprised by that, but I think we need to shop them around at, Aetna, Cigna, I mean, all these are major, I'm sure the broker's doing that, but, yeah, we need to kind of make sure no stone is left unturned as far as, cause 5%'s still 5%, right? I think I don't know what the average inflation is for health insurance, but that seems pretty high. I don't know, what are your thoughts? What was it from last year? Do you have any idea?
I don't remember the exact percentage from last year, but if you remember, Cigna Oscar was new to I don't wanna say the industry or offering.
Got a good deal.
Right,
didn't we?
yeah,
Felt
and
like
it
we
was,
got a
Really
really-
sweetheart deal last
it was
year.
very low, and I did.
So too, right? So.
I did preface that to say that this is the introduction, and so
No,
expect that it's gonna go.
That's where I'm going with
Yeah.
this conversation, actually, is it seemed like we got a really good deal last year. So 16% prospectively, it's maybe where it evens out, right? But maybe the 5% seems much better. So anyway, I think, so just continue to pursue those options and then bring them back. Good idea.
I was reading something that, is the county offering the ability to kind of jump in with them to try to get better rates? Johnson County?
That could be a potential option, and so,
I thought there were some of the cities were kind of looking at doing that. Okay. So I didn't know if that was something that's out there or not.
yeah,
I'm sure you're looking into all of it, but just in case.
yeah, yeah. Then the only other thing that I would put out there to think in terms of when I come back and for making decisions is thinking about if we were to stay on our own, what the benefits of that is versus collaborating with another entity. Collaborating with another entity, there's some pros and cons to both of those, and just be thinking about, okay, there's the control over plan design. We potentially obviously lose that if we collaborated, but again, if we go into it with a strong partner that we feel is gonna really collaborate with us, there shouldn't be a major concern, but just be thinking about those types of things.
I assume with the collaboration, there's a potential that we could have our hands tied in some aspect of the process, and we may not want to give up that freedom, so that's just a consideration.
Yeah, just the consideration and the major things of having access to the data. I've asked, would we still get access to data, and been informed that that's still there. The obvious one is there's no control over plan design, so it's, whatever they pick, but.
Yeah, but, right.
Is it kind of like just majority rules in that situation? Like if you were
Well,
collaborating
yeah,
with
the
a much larger
You have
entity?
the scale of economy there, so you're gonna have, everybody's able to pool the resources together, right?
Right.
So you're gonna get better deals in network,
Right.
so, they're cutting deals with the Latham Medical, right? I have a little experience in surgeries in the last in the last year, but yeah. No, for real, so they're cutting, so that's how this works, and I think that when you can play up with partnerships, it's probably not, there's probably a lot more, I don't know, you bring it back, I don't wanna speak out. I think there's a lot of pros and there's probably a few cons, but I think there's a lot of pros. There's a few pros, let me rephrase this, okay, there are some pros, okay? I'll say that, and then you can bring back more information.
Yes, there's some pros and cons.
There's
to
probably
both.
more cons than pros. Pros, probably the only pros is pricing.
Yeah,
Outside of that, it's probably all cons.
Well, I would say that from a standpoint of the buying power piece of it, I mean, that's definitely going to be a pro with the collaboration, because right now we are what we are. I mean, we are growing, we are continuing to grow as a city and then as staff-wise, but we're definitely not there right now. So our leverage is not as strong as it would be if we were collaborating. But again, even with that said, like with the Cigna one, is we still were able to get a quote at like 5% higher. And who's to say if the collaboration, though, it may come back and be within that same range, or maybe a little bit more, and then it's a matter of looking at what those specifics are of that plan and what that's gonna look like for our employees, and making sure that we're, making a decision that's giving them something good, as well as being efficient with the budget.
Which at this point, our plan is pretty robust, isn't it? As far as, don't they have a pretty good plan?
It was at the most robust one that we had.
I was gonna say,
available.
it's
Yes,
about as good as they can get, I would think.
so,
They're just getting their money back on the second year.
Yeah.
I do recall you saying, that it's a honeymoon, right, or not that, but it was gonna be, it wouldn't last.
Right.
So it was a great deal last year, so anyway, you did a good job last year, continue on.
yeah. I mean, my goal obviously would not be to change carriers each year for our employees, but we're in a situation where, again, you just want to balance out offering a plan that's as robust as possible, but as efficient as possible with the budget as well, so.
If say you go with the new Cigna, would they get to keep all the same information, or is it basically like a whole new company still?
What exactly do you mean?
Because didn't you say it's Sigma, right now we have
Cigna
Sigma
Oscar,
Oscar.
right.
Yeah, which is,
Basically like, I think of it like the parent company under the umbrella, so Cigna Oscar is under the whole.
that's what I'm saying, so if you went like the big company Signa, would they get to keep kind of like their cards and all that, or would
It's
it
gonna
change
be
everything?
cars, yeah.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, all new, it'll be all different, right?
I always hated that one.
Which is a pain in the, which is exactly, which is a major, which is actually a con, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
actually kind of a really big, Yeah, so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what, so will they negotiate the 16% or do they just say, there you go and,
Yeah, well, we tried
yeah, so we,
And,
so
yeah.
they said, go.
and nothing,
Okay.
it did
Yeah.
not change.
Good job.
I've
What's-
never seen
Good job.
a health insurance company budge, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're on the right track. Just keep us in
Yeah.
the loop.
Yeah, no, we can't make them budge much with
Yeah.
50, but
I
we
only
try.
So,
All right, well, that's what I wanted to discuss and just let you know that when I come back, if I say we,
when you
need
throw
to have a
numbers
special
like
meeting or something to
16%.
get some decisions going, then that you know why, it's because we're kind of down to, for lack of a better word, the wire, so. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. All right, that takes us to announcements and reports. I have a couple items I was just gonna mention. Last week was National Police Week. This week is National Public Works Week, so thank you to all those folks and staff in those departments that are literally helping the wheels turn on this machine here. Also, on Monday, the 29th, Memorial Day, the American Legion is having a ceremony out at the cemetery at 10 a.m. There's a guest speaker, Lance Corporal Ellis will be speaking from the Marines. So if you have a chance and an opportunity, please go out there to the cemetery and join them at 10 a.m. The other big news from July 21 to July 22, Spring Hill was the fastest growing city in the state of Kansas. So that was very exciting to hear. I know Mr. Berkey, Mayor Berkey would have loved to have shared that information with everybody. He was very excited about it. I think it's important to note that that was 21 to 22. All of the work that took place to make that happen took place long before any of us were up here. So I think it's really important to thank the people that were here in 2021 to make that happen. Some folks out there in the audience were a part of that, so thank you to you folks, specifically Mr. Burton. I know you were a big part of that. Former Mayor Ellis, I know he was a big part of that. So thank you to everybody that helped make that happen. That's very exciting, and that honestly explains why I think in my 2 years on council, it's probably felt like 5 years just experiencing all that growth. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, safe Memorial Day weekend. So that's all I have. Mr. Van Houten.
No report.
Mr. Peel?
Just one thing, the fishing derby is next Saturday, June the 3rd. That's assuming that you guys approved it not too long ago. That's out of Veterans Park. It's always a really good kickoff of the summer weekend. Turnout is usually very, very good. The new fishing jetties are there, so I know our event staff is super excited about that aspect. It's free food. It's cost-free. It's also the license-free weekend, so you do not need a license to fish at that event. So come on, check it out.
You do not have to cancel the event, Mr. Peel.
Okay, cool. I'll let my people know.
Mr. Young?
I just wanted to say congratulations to all the high school teams. We had a ton of high school teams that made the state tournaments and quarterfinals. I think it was boys baseball, girls softball, track, and the girls soccer made it to the quarterfinals. So, I mean, it's cool to see that all across our community, they're being very successful in different ways. And I know there were some kids that won at the welding competition a couple months back. So in all facets of the community, I think we're doing pretty good as far as with these kids. So it's, I'm pretty proud of that. So that's all I have.
Ms. North?
I'll just say thank you to the kids that wrote to the city council after attending.
Oh.
What was the event called again?
I'm sorry, yes, so I forgot to say something. Mr. Van Houten organized a field trip that I think we talked about last meeting for the third grade class of Wolf Creek and Prairie Ridge. And they came out and Mr. Van Houten did a fantastic job of showing them the city and what we do here on council. And they wrote us some pretty awesome little thank yous, saying thank you to the council, but really it's thank you to, all the staff for everything they do. But that was really neat. So those are there for you to look at them if you'd like. All right. Mr. Massey?
No report.
Mr. Burton?
I just would ask, is that Saturday at 10 o'clock at the cemetery?
I'm sorry, did I say Saturday? It's
I-
Monday.
It's Monday?
Monday.
Oh, no, I was just asking. You might have said Monday, I just didn't get.
Fishing Derby next Saturday.
Okay.
Monday, 10 a.m.
Just double check the cemetery, so, thank you.
Is this news? Hopefully it's not. Madam Clerk?
No report, thank you.
Ms. Dunn?
No report?
Ms. Jones?
No report.
Mr. Messer?
Oh, yeah. Two things. I know everybody talked about Veterans Lake several times and the jetties, but I would like to point out that the WR and Floyd South Sea Foundation was the ones that provided the funding for that. I want to give a shout out to them for the $87,500 they provided to build those jetties.
I didn't hear who it was. I'm sorry. One more. Is your microphone on?
And Floyd South Sea Foundation.
One more time. In the mic.
W.R. Floyd and South Sea Foundation paid the.
It's still not on.
It just takes a second.
Oh, okay.
So.
W.R. Floyd and South Sea Foundation provided the funding for the jetties. This week, one of the parts of the donation was to provide a little sign commemorating their donation, and I finally got the final approval on the design from Young Signs, and we got those on order. So that will be part of the dedication of but they donated $87,500 for those jetties, which was very helpful.
Well, and sorry for being a pain, but when you're saying, let's give credit to these folks, we definitely want to make sure anybody listening can hear.
Yes.
Give credit
yes,
to these
yes.
folks, so.
I just want to give a shout out to them because we keep talking about the jetties, but it was made possible with their donation.
That's fantastic.
Might as well finish up while I'm up here. The other thing is, I know nobody's curious about what the pool is happening out there, but we have it half full. Everything looks like it's going to be opening on Sunday on time. We had a substantial leak that required a huge effort to find the leak and repair it. We tried to fill it last night and had to go back and make some more repairs, but it's holding everything. We're going to be putting in the concrete tomorrow morning to to patch the big hole we cut in the cement, but pool's leak. So, okay, that's all.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
Chief Henson?
The only thing I wanted to say was that voting starts today. If you follow our Facebook page, K9 Loki, when we got him a little over a year ago, he came with a small kidney. You know, it was not formed correctly, and so we knew that we would eventually have to have surgery, and so we've been looking at that right now. We have a grant that is through Aftermath Cares. And it'll allow for up to $2,500 if we get the most votes, that we can apply toward the surgery, or any other, canine needs. We've had a lot of comments on our Facebook. I had a contact with Always and Forever, earlier today, and they're looking to do some fundraising to help as well. So if you do feel motivated to do a vote, you can vote through June 5th. And on our
Where can
Facebook
we
page,
vote?
there's several links on our Facebook page.
Facebook, okay.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a Spring Hill resident. You
Nope,
can
anybody,
Tell all
nobody,
your
share
friends.
it out. Let it,
Yeah.
you know, anybody from across the world can vote.
Cousins in Italy? Got it.
Yep, they can vote. So
All right.
that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, so go vote.
Go vote.
Mr. Lowe?
Nothing to report.
All right. With that, I'd consider, we do have an executive session that we anticipate being in for about 15 minutes. We do not anticipate any formal action to follow. Entertain a motion?
Have a,
Oh, it might be,
what does it say, where's that at? It's at the
You
bottom.
might go all the way at the bottom.
There it is. Okay, I got it.
Mike. It's in the e-packet.
Yeah, I got it here. All right. How many minutes? 15?
15.
I move the city council recess into executive session for 15 minutes to receive advice and counsel pursuant to the attorney-client privilege exception of KSA 75-4319B2 of the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The open meeting will resume in the city council chambers at 8:20 PM. No formal action is anticipated following the session. Persons to be in attendance are the following: City Attorney Spencer Lowe.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We will be right back. All right. Let the record reflect that the governing body reconvened into open meeting at 8:20 PM. No votes were taken or decisions made during the executive session. Discussion was limited to the subject stated. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second. Oh,
Oh,
wait,
did
we have
somebody
to have a
motion?
first?
Go ahead.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Have a good evening.
Got timing better?
Yeah.
Yeah, so sorry, I